You'll go to a restaurant in Japan, right? You'll sit down and there's always the questions they ask you, right? This is just what you pick up from being here for so long. You sit down in the restaurant and then she starts talking like super fast, the waiter or he starts talking super fast in your ear, right? I'm taken off guard, so I'm not listening. So now I'm like losing, right? So now I'm trying to listen and pick up some words, and then she'll just be like, and then she'll just say a word like arugi, and then ka, right? So it's like, I don't even know what you said. You could have been talking for 30 seconds and all I heard is the word allergy, and then you ended it in a question. So then you can just be like, okay, well, she's just asking me if I have an allergy, all right? I'm squeezing all this down into that, and then I'm just like, no, I don't have an allergy. And then boom, there you go. That's like that question, that is done. They fluff the talk so much in restaurants. They say so much stuff here, and then they actually ask you what they're asking. So just listen out for like keywords in restaurants and stuff. And yeah, you'll be fine. Sometimes you won't understand what they're asking you. Like, it took me a while to realize, like, I didn't understand why the taxi driver was asking me a certain question. It turned out, after 3 or 4 times of being in a taxi, he was just asking me what if the temperature was okay. And I just never had this happen in taxis, so I never like expected it to happen. But then now I understand that, okay, if I go in a taxi, I tell him where to go. He's going to ask me if the highway is okay, if using the navigation is okay. Because sometimes people don't want the drivers to use the navigation thing. I don't know why. So they ask you if it's okay if they use the GPS. And I'm like, what? Yeah, dude, I don't give a fuck. Please use the GPS, actually. I don't want you to not use it. I don't, you're like 90. I don't trust you to know, to go the right way. Please use the GPS. And then, yeah, and then maybe they'll ask you if the temperature is okay in the car. Especially in like summer or winter when, you know, they can't kind of get the temperature right. But the worst part about speaking somewhat Japanese, I'll say, the first parts of the conversation, I sound like I know my shit. I sound like I know everything. And then, so they get more confident in talking to me. And then they start asking progressively like more natural and native conversations. And then I'm like, oh God, do I now pretend that I know what they're saying? Or do I just say I don't get it? On the you know when I did the IRL stream at Maylene's house, on the way over there, the taxi driver spoke to me the entire time. And the first 10 minutes of the conversation were pretty chill. I understood like everything he was asking me. He was just asking me about what I do for work, what kind of foods I like, you know, why am I in Japan? You know, he's telling me about his life and stuff. And then he started asking me stuff about my hobbies. And I started trying to explain some things to him that was really hard for me to explain because my talking isn't as good as my listening. And then he started telling me about his life. And I've just started like finding it so hard to keep track of what he was saying because he was talking for so long. But he was like, he told me he used to be a cop and then he worked in a garage and then now he likes to drive in his free time. And so I was trying to change the conversation to get to easier stuff so that I didn't have a harder time following. So I was like, oh, what car, you like cars, or what cars do you like? And then he would tell me what cars he liked. Then he would start going back to something. And he was a taxi driver and he was telling me how about he got caught speeding as well. And I was like, what? Am I understanding this correctly? It was intense. And then near like the last 10 minutes, I was like, please talk in a little easier Japanese. I'm having a hard time following. And then he was nice about it. It's pretty chill. They make a lot of effort. I think if you get through the first parts of the conversation in Japanese to Japanese people, 90% of them are super chill and they're just really fucking glad that you speak Japanese. They'll open up and warm up to you super fast. If you know just a little bit of Japanese people are so willing to talk to you and kind of just be patient with you. If you don't speak a tiny bit of Japanese, they'll kind of be like, oh God, because they love to see that you make the effort. I'd say even if you're coming to Japan just to visit, just learn very little phrases, and I promise you it'll go a long way. They really appreciate that. I'm telling you, they will be so much nicer to you if you speak the tiniest bit of Japanese, because they feel like, okay, this guy's going to make the effort. This guy's going out of his way to try and understand us. If you turn up and you just start speaking English at them, they'll be like, okay, this guy's just, he just wants us to accommodate to him, and then he doesn't understand anything, and now it's going to be hard for us to understand everything. So it's kind of, I don't know if it's the same in other countries. Maybe in France, they're normally chill. I remember when I would try and talk to them in French and they would just be like, fuck off. They would just be like, fuck you. What do you mean you don't know what I'm saying? I'd be like, un baguette. And then they would be like, Drrr, and I'd be like, I don't know. And then they'd look at me like, French people were always really like intense about it. I don't know why. This is why I have trauma with France. This is why I hate France. I always make jokes about France. That's the British side of me. Dude, I just remember they were so mean when I was a kid. Dude, they're very protective of their language. I just remember they were so mean. They were always so mean. But then some people were really chill. You would meet some really, really nice people. But every now and then you would just meet people who were just fucking like, why are you 12 and don't speak French? What the fuck? What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, God.